Шановні колеги, ми продовжимо.
We are continue our work today. The floor is given to the presidential administration speaker on the issues of ATO operation, Andriy Lysenko. Good afternoon, esteemed colleagues. I would like to offer to your attention the information regarding the situation in the ATO zone in the east of Ukraine. In the Lugansk sector yesterday, we had one shelling from the mortar launcher on the part of the illegal armed formation. This took place near the village of Alexandrovka, Popasnyansky district in the Donetsk sector. The environment remains most threatening. The enemy uses the mortars, in particular during daylight hours. Most powerful shelling using the mortar launchers took place in Svetlodarsk Bulge near Lugansk. For 50 minutes, enemy shot and they issued 70 mortar mines at our positions. The most intense battles almost around the clock continue in the Avdiivka industrial area. In addition to the mortar launchers, the enemy used here the barrel artillery. The militants continue their attempts to move the front line to the west in order to unblock their communication at the Yanusovaty junction and to bring more heavy weaponry and ammunition to the front line. And they also attacked in the east near Yanusovaty. Mineralny, Ukrainian troops actually retaliate or open the return fire using the regular weapons which are not forbidden by the Minsk agreements. Also, they activated near Zaitsevo and Mayorsk yesterday. They used actively mortars and their armored equipment. All in all, over the last 24 hours in the Donetsk sector, there were 33 enemy shellings, including 14 using the heavy weaponry. In Mariupol, the sector, yesterday there were two shellings from the mortar from the part of the illegal armed formations, Alakivka and Shirokina. They were short for a short period of time, short-lasting. And also the occupationists activated their firing for using other kinds of weapons along the whole line of contact. In particular, very intensive shooting between the ATO forces and the enemies took place in Mariinka, near Dokuchaevsk, in Starognativka. We should know that, as unlike the previous days, those incidents take place also during the daylight time. All in all, in the Mariupol sector, we recorded or registered 25 enemy shootings. Yesterday in the Donetsk sector, the enemy used 3 UAVs, 3 drones for the reconnaissance purposes. The Russian occupationist forces just tried to falsify the information using the information of those drones. In particular, the Russian mass media actively published those photos and changed the time and the place of the filming. Over the last 24 hours, 2 Ukrainian soldiers were killed and 6 were wounded. Besides, 2 more soldiers were wounded as a result of they tripped the explosive device. We would like to express our condolences, to bring our condolences to the near and dear of the fallen soldiers. Yesterday, in the wooded area, a local citizen in Bakhmut district of Donetsk region tripped the wire trip. He was taken to the hospital. The losses of the enemy. Yesterday, we eliminated 7 and wounded 9 occupants from the so-called 3rd Brigade in Gorlivka, 7th Brigade Debaltseva, 100th Brigade Donetsk, and the 9th region of Azovsk, 11th region in Makivka. They also tried to take care of the reconnaissance operations near Zaitsevo and Mayorsk. I should know that the commander of the so-called Third Brigade refused to provide the fuel and lubricants for transportation of the wounded militants to the Gorlivka hospital. As a result, 2 wounded soldiers of the enemy forces died. Also, there are not everything is okay in the so-called 9th Regiment of the Russian occupationist troops. The commander of this unit got the reprimand for the low quality skills of the newcomers. The official report about this kind of the internal house investigation showed that since June 2016, 14 enemies were killed and 7 were wounded. Yesterday, on the far eastern territory of the military college in Blagoveshchensk, they actually buried the colonel of the armed forces of Russian Federation, Alexander Bushoyev, who was killed between the Kharkiv and Makivka 5 days ago. Despite the very intense battles in the Avdiivka industrial area, our special units for the explosive ordnance teams are working successfully in order to defuse different mines and the shells of the grenade launchers 82 and 120 millimeters. The law enforcement employees continue to detain some of the militants. It has been established that the resident of the village of Maximilianovka, Marinsky, this Donetsk region, told us that in 2014 he was actually recruited by the guy nicknamed Kiruha, who offered him to join the ranks of the Vostok formations in 10,000 rubles payment. Also, SBU detained an official in Sloviansk who actually collaborated with the militants. It has been established that the subject actually provided the militants with the equipment and the construction materials during the occupation of the city in 2014. Also, there were 4 searches carried out, and they found the hiding place and the cache with the weapons, 9 guns, handguns, and 2 revolvers, the 9/11 armored vest. The units of the armed forces of Ukraine go through very intensive training, and those training actually take place on distantiated from the line of contact, according to the Minsk agreements, which Ukraine observes 100% herself. Also, yesterday, the number of the ordnances, explosive ordnance team and newcomers complete their training course with the instructors from Germany. Ukrainian military doctors actually give their medical assistance to the wounded servicemen who actually lost their hands or legs. In particular, 2% of the Ukrainian soldiers who need the special treatment and the prosthesis were provided necessary help. And other supplies came to Ukraine for the militants. The questions: can you clarify the circumstances when our 2 guys were killed? In the information that 2 hours were actually tripped in a tripwire in Lugansk. If you have some more information, could you please tell us? All in all, over the last 24 hours, there were 56 shellings, 18 of which are using the heavy weaponry. In Lopaskin, we lost 2 of our guys. The minivan was undermined on this high explosive device in Lugansk. 2 wounded as a result of the mortar shelling. In Zaitsev, 1 wounded, and in Avdiivka, 2 wounded as a result of the shootings. And in the mine Butovka, 1 person was wounded as a result of the shelling. Thank you very much for the information. See you again.